everybody, The Two for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new deck profile this time around. It is my Gustos. I absolutely love Gustos. It's one of my favorite dual terminal archetypes. They're a lot of fun. They're kind of like Yang Zings before Yang Zings were cool, or even around. Like Yang Zings are the easiest deck to compare them to. They play similarly, but unlike Yang Zings, not all Gustos float, but they do have a good amount of floaters, and this deck can get very annoying for a lot of people. So I'm not going to really waste too much time. Let's get on with the deck profile. So first and foremost, I play 3 Calm Serenity of Gusto. I'm still not sure if it's pronounced Cam or Calm, but Calm, Cam, whatever you want to call her, I'm just going to call her Cam because that's what I'm used to. She is one of the best Gusto monsters, and honestly the only level 4 or higher Gusto monster you should really play. I mean, granted though, I did test Windar for a little bit, and Windar was okay, but however, really honestly, Windar is only really useful in certain ways. Now, Cam, what she does is once per turn you can target 2 Gustos in your graveyard, shuffle them back into deck, and draw 1 card. That is really good. It's not a hard once per turn clause, so if you have multiple Cam out on the field, you can keep doing it so long as you have at least a few Gustos in grave. I absolutely love this card. It's one of my favorites. And also, just want to note, I have a DT misprint Cam. Look at it. I don't know what the heck happened to it, but whenever I got it out of the DT, it was like that. Looks like the paint got smudged. Next up, I play 3 Pilica, Descendant of Gusto. So she's kind of like the gap between Gustos and Spiritual Beasts. If you guys didn't know, they like became Spiritual Beasts in the DT lore. But anyway, so Pilica is one of the best monsters to come out in this archetype, and is also surprisingly not originally in the DT. She came out in Primal Origin alongside a bunch of other support cards for older decks, and she really gave the deck a lot of support. So whenever she is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target 1 wind tuner monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but for the rest of the turn you cannot summon anything. It's for wind monsters, which isn't really that big of a deal. It's a really, really good card. It's an instant synchro. She's your main thing that you want to summon off of E-Telly. And also, like, let's say, like, at the end of, like, a very long, like, your opponent going after all of your, floaters, I'll usually summon her last after my opponent has done their last attack, and then bring back one of my tuners to go into a synchro next turn, and then, oh hey, since it's a turn afterwards, I can go into whatever I want, and it doesn't have to be wind. So yeah, she's really, really good and provided the deck a lot of speed that it really, really needed. Next up, one of the main tuners of the deck is Gusto Goldo. So the reason why he's one of the main tuners is because he and Pilica equal, forgot her name, but the level 6 synchro that, oh yes, Freeze, that Gusto's Freeze, that basically makes all of your monsters into mini Yubels. And so that's the reason why he's one of the main tuners, but however, he's also one of the floaters. Pretty much all of the monsters after this are floaters. So if he is destroyed by battle or the card effect, if he hits graveyard in any way, from the field, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower Gusto monster from your deck. So he floats into a level 2 or lower, and then you got the other triangle. So we got Winda. You'll usually special summon off of Goldo, depending on what's going on. Winda, Priestess of Gusto. If she's attacked and destroyed by a monster in battle, you can special summon a Gusto tuner monster from your deck. And then that will usually get you Gusto Ego and Gusto Ego. If he's destroyed by battle, is it also by card effect? I'm not sure. Yeah, it has to be by battle. You can special summon a level 4 or lower Gusto non-tuner monster. So usually how it goes is Goldo floats into Ego, Ego floats into Winda, Winda floats into Goldo, and so on and so forth. Or you can kind of just go like how I kind of had it, where Goldo, Winda, Ego, back into Winda, stuff like that. It's really up to you. And then for the last 3, I play 3 Kamui, Hope of Gusto. Kamui, he's a flip effect monster. Whenever he's flip face up, you can special summon a Gusto tuner monster from your deck. Generally speaking, he's just another floater, and he gets to your other floaters. He's just really good. Also, if your opponent doesn't attack into it, hey, that's another monster that you can synchro summon with, and that's one less monster you have to worry about, like normal summoning and special summoning stuff. Now for the spells, I play 3 creature swaps. So this deck, everything's really low on attack and defense. So Generally speaking, your opponent's gonna have stronger monsters than you, so you just normal summon one of your little tuners, activate creature swap. Okay, I get my opponent's Dark Destroyer, and you get my little Goldo, who has like 500 attack points. So, and also the floaters, with the exception of Winda and Kamui, all happen, so Goldo and Eagle, they trigger their effects regardless of which side of the field they were on. So, like, let's say you do take your opponent's Dark Destroyer and run over a Goldo or an Eagle that you gave to your opponent, you will trigger their effects and you will get to special summon something from the deck, which is really, really good. Next up, I play 2 Contact with Gusto. Basically, this card says, whenever you activate it, shuffle 2 Gustos from your deck to the, from your grave to the deck, and then destroy 1 card on the field. I believe it has to be face up. Target, and okay, no, it does not have to be face up. So this card can pop anything. It can pop monster spells, traps, field spells, whatever. So you can just use it to get rid of just about everything. It does sadly target, if I am correct in reading this right. Yeah, it does target. So it cannot pop Dark Destroyer and other things that can't be targeted, which kind of sort of sucks, but oh well, it still can get rid of a lot of things. Next up is 2 E-Telly. This deck really benefits from E-Telly being at 2 or higher. I miss it being at 3 because I don't see it as often, and considering Cosmos are dominating, well, aren't really dominating, but they're one of the big meta decks right now, I would not be surprised if E-Telly goes to 1 in the upcoming ban list. So really, E-Telly, play as many as you can in Gustos. It really helps out. Your main target that you summon is Pilica, as I've said earlier. And once E-Telly goes to 1, this deck is going to be a whole lot harder to play. Now, if E-Telly doesn't go to 1, that's completely fine and awesome. Next up, I play 2 Instant Fusions. I play 2 targets, so I play 2 Instant Fusions. One is Norden, obviously. The other, I'm going to keep a secret till we get to him, but it's one of my favorite fusion monsters. Next up, I play 2 MST. I kind of sort of was bouncing back and forth between MST and Twin Twister. But I ended up going with MST. Yes, Gustos like being in a graveyard, so Twin Twister helps them. But, however, they like getting into the graveyard through being destroyed by battle or card effects. So, really discarding them doesn't do much unless I want to play Gusto. What's he called? There's a Gusto monster that if he's discarded, you can special summon a Gusto monster from your deck, but I can't remember what he's called. And he's ridiculously, annoyingly hard to find because, I don't know, nobody played it and everybody threw it away. And then for the last bit, I play 1 Upstart Goblin just to add a little bit of consistency and stuff. Just simply to get to my combo pieces a bit better. As I said, this deck does play an awful lot like Yang Zings, but unlike Yang Zings, they don't have as many combos, so the combos you do have, you gotta really benefit from and get going off of. Next up, I play 2 Ick Attack. Most of this deck is Wing Beast, the other half is Psychic, so I have a lot of Wing Beast targets for Ick Attack, and I really only use it if my opponent's going to make something that I can't get over very easily, like a Crystal Wing or something similar. So it's a really good card for the deck, but it also doesn't really help out too much because it doesn't trigger their effects, sadly, because I believe it's Goldo who, if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, it says, but if you tribute him off for cost or if you synchro summon, he misses timing. Next up, I play 2 Void Trap Holes. This is just simply mainly to get rid of anything that is too dangerous to the deck. Generally speaking, with this deck, you don't really care what your opponent does, but however, you do have to worry about certain monsters, certain really big things like Crystal Wing and other things like that. So I played, and oh yeah, and also this is to protect the main boss monster, Daigustos Freeze. So like if your opponent goes into Castel, 101, something like that, this is to protect Freeze. And I'll show you why you need to protect Freeze so badly once we get to her. Speaking of protecting Freeze, I play 2 Grand Horn. Same reason as Void Trap Hole, to protect Freeze. Next up, 2 Call to Haunted, just simply so I can get more combos going. And if my Freeze dies, I can bring her back with Call to Haunted, which is always nice. And then for the 1-ofs, I play 1 Blessings for Gusto and 1 Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning, same reason as Void Trap Hole and Grand Horn, to protect Freeze. And Blessings for Gusto is a very interesting card that I kind of want to test it too, but I also kind of don't. So basically what it does is you activate it, you target 2 Gusto monsters in your graveyard and a 3rd one. You shuffle the first 2 targets back into your deck and then you special summon the 3rd one onto your field. So it helps out with stuff, and it's kind of like a Call to Haunted, but Call to Haunted is better. But however, this does get you back some stuff back into the deck. Now onto the extra deck. So this is a big synchro heavy deck. There is only one level 4 in the entire deck that I play. Yes, there are a few others like Musto and stuff like that, but I don't play them. Most of my extra deck is synchro based. Yeah. Anyways, so first and foremost, one Formula Synchron. You're probably wondering how I make this. I will show you once we get to it. One Degusto Falcos. This is just off the off chance I actually have to make him. He's a level 4 Gusto monster, needs a tuner plus a non-tuner Gusto monster, and whenever he is synchro summoned, all Gustos gain 600 attack points, so he becomes a 2000 beater. He's not really that big of a threat, and he's not really that big of a deal, and honestly, you could probably replace him. I just play him because it's nice to have another level 4 that I can go into that is decent. Sadly, there's not many. Speaking of level 4 synchros that are really good, Old Entity Haster is a really good monster. If he dies, he equips himself onto a monster your opponent controls, and then if he dies while equipped onto that monster, you take control of it. And also while he's equipped onto a monster, that monster can't attack and its effects are negated if my memory is correct. Cannot attack and its effects are negated, yep. Next up I play one high-speed Richambara. This thing is generic and you can do 4600 damage with it. So it's really, really good. Next up I play two Degusto Godos. This thing is kind of like a walking version of Contract with Gusto. Basically, it has the same effect as Contract with Gusto, except it can only pop one face-up monster. So you shuffle 2 Gustos in the graveyard back to your deck, pop 1 monster your opponent controls that is face-up. So it's not terrible, but not very great either. Still a really good monster. It's level 5, 2200 attack, so it helps out a lot. Also, this thing turns into Shaddoll Winda, if anybody's wondering. Next up, Stardust Charge Warrior. Mainly for the draw effect, really, to be honest. I don't really go into them very often unless I really need a draw or if I can't mix freeze at the time, which is very rare because if I can make this guy, I can mix freeze. But hey, this thing can attack all monsters that my opponent controls that were special summon, and when I summon, I get to draw a card, which is always nice. Card fell. Next up, we finally get to Spreeze, the lady I've been talking about. So Spreeze is the boss monster of the deck. She is a Yubel, and she grants that to all Gustos you control. So she herself cannot be destroyed in battle, and your opponent takes any and all battle damage that you would have taken from battles involving a Gusto monster. That includes herself, and that includes all of your floaters. So generally what you do is you summon her, you get out your little dude who's like a floater and stuff, and then you attack into a big monster your opponent has. Your opponent takes all the damage, you use the tuner's effect, special summon another Gusto, and then you keep repeating and repeating and repeating as much as you can. Now, sadly, you can't do this as much as you would like because Winda only gets her effect whenever she is attacked, which really sucks. Now then, and if that wasn't good enough, Spreeze has another effect where whenever she is synchro summoned, you get to add 1 Gusto card from your graveyard to your hand. So she can also recycle herself, and also she can grab back any of your monsters. I usually grab back Pilica just so I can keep reusing her and abuse her and go and do another. That actually sounded really bad. And using her effect and stuff to go into more synchros and stuff. That or I will grab back like a contract pop of something that is like in my way, like I don't know, Mirror Force that my opponent grabbed off of Pot of Duality. So Spreeze is a really good monster. It's honestly the best card in the deck because it's your main win condition. If you can't make Spreeze, you can't win. Otherwise, you're just annoying your opponent. But nobody likes. 1 Black Rose for the off chance I need to pop everything. I don't really make it too often, but hey, it's useful. 1 Clearwing, I almost called it something else. Clearwing Synchro Dragon. You can make it even if you use Pilica's effect, and hey, it's a really, really good monster. And where would Clearwing be without his upgraded version? Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. That's it for the synchros. And of course, guys, I play 1 Norden, and for the other fusion monster, my other instant fusion target, I play 1 Falzenizer Strict. Generally speaking, I use his effect, steal something, and then I go into a synchro with him after instant fusing. That's why I play Formula Synchron, because Gusto Eagle is a level 1 tuner, so I just get him out, sync, and to Formula Synchron, get a draw, and then hey, and just kind of maybe go into something else that's bigger. And actually with Formula Synchron, I can go into Crystal Wing using a level 6 synchro. So That's the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I have a lot of fun playing this deck, and it was so nice to be able to use Fossil Ice Restrict again. I still want to make a rank 1 spam deck, but I gotta wait until Mystic Piper drops in price. So guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. What's your thoughts on it? What would you change? What would you not change? What's your opinion on it? And thank you all for watching. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. Peace out.